Good morning, everybody. As we start the chitas of the day, Monday morning, second reading in the book of Genesis, in the portion of Lech Lecha. We are in the story of Avram Avinu as Abraham is forced to go down to Egypt, and we're holding chapter 12, verse number 14. And when Avram came down to Mitzrayim, and the Egyptians saw the woman, his wife, that she was extremely beautiful. Rash said, it should have said that when they came down to Egypt, but it teaches us he first tried to hide her in a trunk. He put her in a box, put her in the luggage. And when they demanded the custom duty, they opened up the box and they saw her. And then they brought her, they saw the Pharaoh's princess saw her. They praised her to Pharaoh. They said, a beautiful woman has come to town. They took Sarah to the house of Pharaoh. So what does it mean they praised her to Pharaoh? They praised her amongst themselves, saying this woman, only a Pharaoh deserves such a beautiful woman. Verse 16, Avram hated Bavura. And automatically Avram had great presence. Here was the brother. He said my brother. She was telling everybody he's my brother. So everybody started to give him gifts. Wow, the brother was trying to impress upon him. And he had flock and cattle and donkeys, men servants and maid servants and sheep donkeys and camels. Who gave him all this? So Rashi says the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh said, wow, let me try to impress upon him that he let me marry his daughter, his sister, I mean. Pharaoh, Nasulas Matanas. So he gave all these gifts, and the Pharaoh was going to marry Sarah. And then the God came that night to Pharaoh, and he gave him great plagues. There's Besa in his whole house. On the account of Sarai, the wife of Abraham. So Rashi says he was stricken with a plague of Ratan, which made the relation intercourse harmful. Everything got stuffed. There's Besa and his whole household. So Rashi says, like the Targum says, and upon the people of his house. And this includes the walls, the pillars, everything became stuffed in the Pharaoh's palace. Nothing was running. Al Devar Sarai, what means we translated it on the count, but Devar means the words. So Rashi says this is the literal meaning. The Medrash says, according to her words, she said to the angel, strike, and he would strike. So she was commanding the angels to punish the Pharaoh. Pharaoh was in great pain the whole night. He realized that this is not so simple. So Pharaoh called Avram. He said, what do you mean? What's going on over here? What have you brought me over here? You told me, why did you tell me this is your wife? He found out that it was his wife. What did you do over here? Not the Pharaoh cared, but the Pharaoh realized he's getting punished because of the situation. Why did you tell me it's your sister? I took her Leisha for a wife. And here, take your wife. Get out of here. So Rashi says that the Pharaoh asked him to leave. Like Avimelech, not like Avimelech who told him later on, live wherever you want in this land, because over here, the Pharaoh said to him, oh, no, you need to get out of here, because this place is immoral place. And this is not a place to live with if you want to live a moral life. So therefore, the best thing is, if you're a holy man and you want to live a moral life, with such a beautiful woman, you need to leave. Not only he gave him an escort, gave him an escort to leave, protection. They went out. So Rash says on this account to escort him, to guard him. And Abram left Egypt. Him and his wife, actually, that's the side point. You see that over here, this was a everything that happened to Abram happened to the Jewish nation. Exactly the same thing. Later on, the Jewish people were taken as slaves to the Pharaoh, and ultimately Pharaoh got his plagues, and he sent the Jews with great wealth. So Avraham Avinu ultimately left Egypt to come to the south of the land. He went back to Israel. Came back to Eretz Yisrael, where he came from. Lahara Maria, traveling back again towards Mount Moriah, towards Yerushalayim. And in every case, when one goes to Egypt, to the land of Canaan, he goes from the south to the north. And the land of Egypt is the south of the land of Israel. So you have to go from the south to the north. As evidence for the travel of the Jews in the desert that we find later on, the same travel. That they went from the south of Egypt, which is the south of Israel, to the north of Israel, which is towards Jerusalem. Avram kovid ma'od. And as Avram leaves Egypt, he leaves it of heavy with cattle, with silver, and with gold. So he left with great wealth. And he went on his journey from the south until Bethel. He went back to where he was previously in Bethel. Between Bethel and Ai. So Rashi said when he returned from Egypt to the land of Canaan, he went and lodged in the inns where he lodged on his way to Egypt. He stopped in the same inns where he traveled. On the way out, he went back. Why did he do this? To teach you etiquette, that a person should not change his lodging. If somebody took care of you well in a certain lodging, go back to him. Go back to him. And that's decency. That's a decent thing to go, not to return. Another explanation: on his return, he paid his debts. He left. He was when he left Israel. There was a famine. He had no food. He was starving. So he took a lot of debts. Now he came back from Egypt, a wealthy man. So he went and paid back all his debts. In Negev, Eretz Mitzrayim, Canaan, the land of Egypt, is south of the land of Canaan. To the original, the altar which he made, he did it again. Vayikasham Avram b'shem Hashem, and Abraham called in the name of God. And where Abraham had called in the name of the Lord, we may also say that it means that now he called there in the name. Now he realized that Mamish realized the whole journeys, how every part of his journey left Canaan, he came to Canaan because God asked him to come to Canaan. He left Canaan because of a famine, thinking that this would be a disaster, and came back to Canaan. He saw all the wealth, the success, how the Abish showed him that you're going to see, you just follow, if you just go my way, you'll have unbelievable success. And on his journeys, he ultimately realized that. And that completes the Chumash for today. We go now to the Tanya of the day. We are holding in the middle of the Alter Rebbe's letter, the 26th letter of the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe is talking about the Raya Mehemna, a statement, the Raya Mehemna that said, we rushed through it yesterday, it was a long Tanya, that over there, the Raya Mehemna says a very amazing statement that when Mashiach comes, it's like the Torah is going to change. And the Alter Rebbe says we cannot say, you have to understand those words of the Raya Mehemna because it doesn't mean in its literal sense, because the Torah will never change. And the laws of the Torah, or not, the Raya Mehemna said that the Zohar, the teachings of the Zohar, that will be the Torah, and the Torah that we have today will be like not needed, so to say. God forbid. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining you can't say that statement because this statement. So look at the oid yesh lahafle hefle fella. Yet another cause to exceedingly amaze at how those who lack understanding comprehend this quotation of the Rambam. The Alter Rebbe says you don't understand what the Rambam says, and he's going to explain it. But he still first tries to impress upon people that have read this that it doesn't make sense what they think they're reading it simply. This statement comes in addition to the preceding causes for surprise at the misunderstanding of the quotation, that a portion of the Torah could be termed as the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That the Raya Mehemna, so to say, quotes and says, the Raya Mehemna is a book on Kabbalah, that so to say says that the Torah is the Torah, the teachings of the Torah, the laws of the Torah come from the tree of good and evil, and the Zohar is from the tree of life. According to their understanding of the Raya Mehemna, the study of Isser and Heter, what is permitted and what's does not supersede the obligation to pray at fixed times, even though prayers are arranged according to the secrets of the Zohar and the supernal unions, where the fact is that it's not true. An individual whose only occupation is the study of Torah, the study of Isser Heter, what's permitted, what's not permitted, does indeed take precedent over the mitzvah of prayer. And that's why the Alter Rebbe shows in the times the sages that many sages would put aside everything for the learning of Torah, and they wouldn't even pray on a regular basis. So the Alter Rebbe says you cannot say such a thing. You're misquoting the Raya Mehemna. You're misquoting him, or you're misunderstanding what he says. And he shows another proof. How is it possible that Raya Mehemna says that with the Zohar we're going to go out of Galus, right? Which is a statement of the Raya Mehemna, and it's true that we're going to go out of Galus through the teachings of Kabbalah. But how can we say that in the days of Mashiach, people will not need to know the laws of ritual prohibition and permissions of impurity and impurity? How is it possible to say such a thing? Seems this thing to say they won't have these laws. If so, how are we going to slaughter animals in the Beis Hamikdash if we won't have these laws? And likewise, animals for common use. How are we going to eat kosher if we're not going to have the laws? You're not going to have the laws of kosher. Even like if we're going to still have the laws, which we are going to still have the laws on kosher and what's not kosher, and which animals you can and bring to the Beis Hamikdash, and how to bring to the Beis Hamikdash, and how to shecht an animal, to slaughter an animal, and what animals are fit to come, and are not allowed to be blemished. All these laws are going to continue. And if lo yadu hilchos drusa v'chaluda shibsum l'shchita b'kiras rakin, and if they will not know the laws of drusa, means these are all drusa, chaluda, and shia are all different laws that negate an animal from bringing it as a sacrifice, any of which disqualifies the slaughtering. And likewise, the laws regarding a defective knife. Will there be born a man who is by the very nature will inadvertently slaughter without shia and derasa? We're going to teach a person. We're not going to do anything. We're going to be a superhuman. We're not going to do things that are going to be like normal human beings. We're going to be turned into machines. Will there be a knife? Well, Mashiach comes. There's going to be a knife that's never going to become unblemished. That's not true. And there are many more laws relating to sacrificial offering and so on, regarding the fat, the blood, and other prohibitions. So what do you mean? So these are the laws of the Torah that are going to be in which Mashiach comes. And we're going to need to know these laws. The Gam Tumas HaMes. And we'll even have to learn the laws of impurity. Because we know the Rambam holds that people will ultimately die even when Mashiach comes. Even in times of Mashiach, the Rambam holds that are not b'mei shani yamas. a young man will die at the age of 100. So there will still be death. And if there'll be death in the time of Mashiach, according to the Rambam, there's an argument with that, but according to the Rambam, Maimonides, there will be death. So, but a person will live for maybe like in the times of Adam and Ish, 900,000 years. And a young, very young person, there'll be 100 will die, maybe. So there'll be death. And if there'll be death, then there'll be the laws of impurity, of death. Then we're not going to be birth anymore. There won't be any births anymore. People will not have children. So if people are going to have children, then we'll have to know the laws of purity and impurity of childbirth, which the Torah says. So it will be further necessary to know the governing impurity of a woman who gives birth. As it's written, a pregnant woman is the one who gives birth together. Will be among those who restore the Holy Land at the time of the redemption through Mashiach. So that means that people will have children. If people will have children, so then they will have to know the laws. If a woman will give birth every day, the successive birth resulting in one marital union. It says when Mashiach comes, according to some, that they'll have one time, you'll have a child, you'll have a relationship, man will have a relationship with a woman, the next day they'll give birth. That's according to, it's brought down. In time of coming in pregnancy will not last 9 months, it says, according to some. And the same day a woman conceives, she'll give birth. Moreover, additionally, children will be born on successive days from the same conception.
Whoa.
Get ready, women. But the
not the old women.
Every woman will be different how old you are. So every woman will give birth. Sarah gave birth at the age of 90. So every woman will give birth. Who said there'll be a date limit? So we'll give birth. That's will be a lot of children will come to the world. But ultimately there's going to be the laws. You can have a person who give birth. There's going to be a law of purity. Nevertheless, maybe the laws of childbirth, people will have more children, but there'll still be the laws of impurity, and impurity is not going to change. So we'll still need to know the laws of purity and impurity. So that Rebbe said, how can you say that? How can you interpret that I am the statement in Kabbalah that it means that it comes to that you don't need to know these laws? There's no need to dwell on something that's so obvious as the fact that these laws will still apply in the time of Mashiach. So that then too it will be necessary to know the laws of what's allowed and what's not allowed, and the laws of purity and impurity. When the entire Talmud and the Midrashim make known the reverse of the misleading impression formed by a superficial reading of our opening quotation from the Rayim. The Parach Hilchos Mashiach. For example, the question is asked: the laws of the time of Mashiach. So again, the Rebbe is trying to express the mistake that people are making. Likewise, we find Eliyahu will come clarify all that. The Gemara says many times when there's a question that can't be answered in halacha and Jewish law, what does the Gemara answer? Teku. The Gemara says Mashiach comes and Eliyahu never comes. He'll give you the interpretation. According to, if you translate the words of the Rayim, we won't need the interpretation because it's not important anymore. But that's not true. It will be important. And that's why Eliyahu, now when Mashiach comes, is going to give us the interpretation of the law. That this Eliyahu will expound on these laws. And not understandable also the statement that the Torah scholars would not be sustained by illiterate people and so on. The Rayim says Mashiach comes that they won't be supported by the sages won't be supported by illiterate people. Because why? Because illiterate people come from the tree of good and bad. Say it above, the tree of good and evil, which is the root of prohibited and impure, will not dominate Jewish people because the Torah scholars will not be sustained by illiterate people. and not from the mix of multitude, the achlim pasul tami v'asach hashashal, which eat that which is literally really richly impure, unfit, impure, and prohibited for men. So the question after that is, what do you mean? They would the scholars were not supported by these kind of people. Not in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, they weren't supported by these people, which was the impure and fit. So what are you talking about? What do you mean when Mashiach comes? In the time of the Second Temple, they were not supported by illiterate people who ate that which is richly unfit and prohibited, heaven forbid. Why? Because we know in the time of the Second Temple, the sages themselves had their own support. They had their own vineyards and their own fields. They didn't need to be supported by such kind of people because they were supported by themselves. And nevertheless, even though they were supported by themselves, what did they nevertheless? Nevertheless, they were engaged in the learning of these laws. All the peers of leading sages who lived in the time of the Second Temple. And they raised disciples in the legal aspects of the Torah in the thousands and tens of thousands. The limit has to be and they studied the hysteric part of the Torah in the secret and so on. We thus see the fact that the Torah scholars need not to be sustained by illiterate is in no way a cause for not studying God for the laws of Issa and Heta, purity and impurity. One thing has nothing to do with the other. So therefore, how are you translating the statement of the Raya Mehemna, this statement of this Kabbalistic teaching that it means when Mashiach comes, we won't study it because the sages will receive their sustentation not from people who eat non-kosher. And therefore, that our Rebbe is going to continue. I'm going to explain to you that I am a Hemna self in the study. I'm not going to let you hanging, hopefully. And today, that completes the Tanya of the day. And today is the 5th day of the month. The 5th day of the month, we say the Tillim of chapter 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, no, 34, right. So 29 to 34, 29 to 34, and you would do the chitas of the day. Wish you all a great day, a wonderful day. Mitchell, we'll see you all tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, where we'll continue the chitas of the day.